to be on now.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for another Facebook Live. I know I do want to start by apologizing about the delay. We are still getting used to this technology, so and us working it on our own. But welcome back. This is a Facebook Live with my colleagues, so all your elected officials from Scarborough Rouge Park. I'm pleased to have with me today Vijay Thanigasalam, who's the member of provincial parliament for Scarborough Rouge Park, and then Jennifer McKelvey, who is the city councillor for Ward 25, Scarborough Rouge Park. So both, first of all, welcome to this Facebook Live. And I just want to, at the outset, start by thanking all of our frontline workers again for the phenomenal work that they do. I mentioned all of them last week, and I'll try to mention them again at the end. But special shout out to all the journalists. I mean, one that we haven't acknowledged, who have been covering this around the clock from around the world, giving us up-to-date information. So special shout out to all the journalists. And of course, I do want to pay tribute to many of the people at Seven Oaks who passed away. It's very dear to our hearts. Many residents at Seven Oaks are from Scarborough Rouge Park. Many of the staff that work there are residents of Scarborough Rouge Park, and it's very close to home for all of us. So, of course, we want to pay our respects to them because many lives have been lost, and many are still struggling to keep alive. So with that, I'll pass it on to Vijay for some opening remarks, and Jennifer, and then we'll dive into your questions. So please post your questions to Facebook, to our Facebook accounts, and we'll be able to answer them. So Vijay?
Thank you, Gary, and for organizing this Facebook Live Town Hall, and it's great to be having all the three levels of government, and thank you, Jennifer, for coming on live as well. This is an unprecedented time, and this is time that we should all come together as Canadians, and especially like when it comes to people, they do look up to the healthcare officials, and they do look up to frontline workers at this time. And as elected official, we are not qualified in terms of medical informations, but we do also rely and get the guidance from our chief medical officer. So as Gary Anna mentioned, I want to thank every single medical professionals out there, frontline workers out there, and truckers or policemen, paramedics, everyone for their hard work. Again, I'm looking forward to have questions and answer some questions from our residents of Scarborough Rouge Park. Again, thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Every single day, I feel gratitude. Gratitude that I get to work alongside Gary and that he's hosting this town hall tonight. Gratitude that I get to work alongside Vijay as well. We're very fortunate in Scarborough Rouge Park, and I'm very, very honored to represent such a wonderful community that really has taken physical distancing to heart and is practicing it every day. And I just also want to echo the gratitude for our frontline workers, and also the gratitude for the grocery clerks, the delivery people, the service providers that are ensuring that every day there is food in my home to feed my family. And I also echo Gary's condolences to our neighbors and our friends in the long-term care facility at Seven Oaks. And thank you again for this forum. And I'll also give gratitude to the IT world that is out there and trying to make this possible. And it is changing every single day. So I'll throw one final gratitude out to my kids. And they've actually been helping me navigate this online world. So I'm fortunate to have them.
And of course, I wanted to just ask the first question, and I'll answer it at the end. What does your average day look like? I know a lot of people have been asking, what are you doing? You're working from home. You're still, representing the government. There's a lot going on. So as an MPP, as a city councillor, as an MP, what is your role? What actually are you doing to help with COVID-19? And maybe I'll start with Jennifer, Vijay, and then I'll get into it. So, Jen?
So thanks for your question. Well, firstly, I will say my day-to-day is obviously quite different. I will say that not having to commute 2 hours every day to City Hall has provided me some extra opportunities to connect with my family and to connect with the residents of Scarborough Rouge Park. So that has been something that is a silver lining in all of this sadness that we have around us right now. Our office does remain open, and we receive phone calls every day, and also our email as well. So I have 7 wonderful staff that have transitioned very well to working from home, and we are still here to serve the residents of Rouge Park. We're very fortunate to do so.
And Vijay?
I start my day with a team meeting over the conference call or Zoom meeting with my staffs. Again, they're working around the clock, actually extended stretch hours, because we are getting a lot of emails and calls from our residents in Scarborough Rouge Park. And then a couple of days in a week, we have a caucus Zoom meeting, and Premier do come on caucus, and he talk to all the MPPs, and including Minister of Health and Ontario Chief Medical Officer, Dr. David Williams. And then after that, we move on to take the calls or call back some residents. And pretty much during these times, obviously, we all working remotely to enforce physical distancing. These days, I have to tell you, Gary, now the time do go very fast. Either is a radio interview or call with a colleague of ours or call with a resident. Again, at this point, I really want to thank my team members for taking all the calls and all the emails. Again, we are also open in terms of phone calls and email. Our office in-person visits are closed. Obviously for the physical distancing reason, but we are taking all the calls, and I would say working from home I thought it was a difficult thing for me personally, because even I always even during school times, I go to library to study, so I don't even study at home. So I thought I cannot do this, but I have to say, starting this week, I'm kind of started liking it, because it's pretty effective and efficient.
Yeah, and likewise, this is my 28th day working from home continuously. I don't think I've ever done that in my life, so it's a big change, and all of us are very social beings. So being at home, I think it's very different, but also very busy. So my average day, every morning from 9:15 to 10, we have calls with the 3 departments on Indigenous affairs. So we're looking at all the challenges in Indigenous communities. What's happening, checking the numbers, making sure all the supports are available, and our additional financial support we're sending to the north, as well as Indigenous communities are getting through, and really highlighting and spearheading any of the immediate things that we hear. And then from 10 onwards, there's usually a whole bunch of Zoom calls, a couple of conference calls, touching base with my team. We usually have team meetings Mondays and Thursdays, but the rest of the time, we're on WhatsApp. We just connect throughout the day. This week has been a phenomenally busy week, probably our busiest week ever since we opened the office about 5 years ago, because a new CERB came in, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, and I think the first day alone we had over 300 calls, and our staff were able to respond, and I was able to talk to some people as well. But ongoing conversations to make sure that all the agencies that are in the riding, as well as organizations that work directly with frontline people, are appreciated and thanked. There's many emails we get. We've had a number of issues with consular services, so people who are stuck in different parts of the world. It's becoming a very important source of frustration for people, because we're at a point where it's very hard for people to actually come in now if they're overseas, and that's become quite difficult for us to handle. But we're working it through. But our average day is there is no commute, so we actually end up working from day to night. So that's my day. We're going to start with the first question from the floor, and Harini is going to read it out. So who's this addressed to?
So this question is for all three, from Lacey. Can you tell us some of the ways that your levels of government work together to tackle COVID-19?
So Lacey, I'm going to start with Jennifer, Vijay, and then I can answer.
Yeah, so at the city, our main initiative is with Toronto Public Health, and Toronto Public Health is in continuous contact with both the provincial and the federal agencies on that and on response. Something that we're working on in the city is also economic recovery, and so the mayor has developed an economic recovery task force. And I'm very lucky that I sit on that group, and in particular, I've been assigned the lead for the academic institutions and industry. And so a lot of the roundtables that we've been conducting do identify provincial and federal issues as well. And so both levels of government have been extremely responsive with us sharing the information that we're hearing at those roundtables. And likewise, I hear often from my counterparts about municipal level issues as well. And so I think that's one way we're really working together is with the information sharing. But then also on the direct COVID-19 response to make sure that we have consistency in the messaging for public health and in the response, both within the city, across the province, and across the
Vijay?
country.
In terms of Government of Ontario, first thing we are focusing on to flatten the curve, and that means do as many tests as possible. So Premier Ford is asked to start testing range of 13,000 moving forward this week. That's our priority and the number. And obviously, we want to make the frontline healthcare workers, physicians, frontline nurses, caregivers, or long-term care priority people to make sure they have PPE equipment so that way we can protect our frontline healthcare workers. And obviously, all the essential businesses to open and to close down all the non-essential workers. As of this week, our priority is becoming tests, because by having more tests, we can definitely see the light on the end of the tunnel. For example, if you look at South Korea or Germany, they have did many tests and they have successfully flattened the curve, and that's what our government Premier Ford is focusing on in this week as we are speaking today, and we will continue to put health and safety of the people as the number one priority, and as we keep our frontline workers safe, we are asking. Obviously, we are working closely with our federal counterparts and City of Toronto. And Premier Ford is in contact, communication with Deputy Prime Minister, Minister Freeland, in getting all the PPE equipments. And also we are working with US counterparts. As you all know, the first set of masks has been manufactured in Ontario by Woodbridge Group. So we are enabling and unleashing the Ontario manufacturing might as well. So we are focusing on testing, PPE equipments, and protecting frontline healthcare workers.
Great, and I think likewise, at the local level, obviously the three of us work very well together, and we are in communication, I would say, every few days or so. I know at the city level, that Mayor Tory is in touch with all of our ministers on an ongoing basis. And of course, Dr. Tam is in touch with Dr. Eileen de Vela, as well as her provincial counterpart. And we work very closely with the province, as you said, we did through Mr. Freeland, to make sure things are coordinated. Obviously, Canada is a big country. We have 13 different jurisdictions. So each, we're almost tackling this in 13 different levels, and the federal government is trying to coordinate, everything. We are ensuring that the personal protective equipment, which is quite scarce right now, is accessible to everyone. And of course, our ultimate message is to everyone, and I think we speak in unison, whether it's Mayor Tory, Premier Ford, or the Prime Minister, in saying that people stay home. The best thing you could do, even during this holiday season, is to stay home, is to make sure that we flatten the curve and we all work collectively. Everybody has a role in this, and I think that's a remarkable thing. What people have observed, and many even media personalities and columnists have said, that it's unprecedented level of cooperation between all levels of government, and we look forward to that, because we know that the health aspect is our first major challenge. Equally, we want to make sure people get through this economically; they're not overly burdened by it, and they're able to keep their homes, keep their jobs. But ultimately, we know that Canada needs to come back economically, and together we will be able to do that. The next question.
Yeah, so the next question is for Vijay from Sharon. I am a landlord. My tenant cannot pay rent, and I cannot pay my mortgage. What can I do?
I can tell you.
Thank you, Sharon, for that question. As everyone is aware, the Attorney General have applied and received the court order of suspending all the eviction of tenants from their home. So what we are asking to landlords to have an agreement and work, be flexible, and work with your tenants to either have a defer payments or to pay later, or a portion of the payments to be done. At the same time, we are, as a government premier, for also asking all the tenants, if you are able to pay, and if you are working, you must pay. And if you are not working, if you are unable to pay, to definitely work with your landlord and have an agreement. Again, this is an unprecedented time. This is the first time I believe we are all facing such a circumstance. So it's time we all work together, and that's why we have suspended the eviction, that no tenants they would be kicked out during this pandemic. It doesn't matter how long this going to last. No one can be kicked out of their homes. Again, if you are working, definitely may pay the rent. Otherwise, have an agreement. Let's work together. There are some assistance that you can get from Ontario Rental Housing Enforcement Unit as well. You can call that number if you need some guidance on how you want to navigate, whether you are a tenant or whether you are a landlord. There is a 1-800 number out there. It's 1-800-772-9277. This is the Rental Housing Enforcement Unit. Talk to them. They will give you guidance on how to navigate this difficult time.
Thank you, Vijay. And I know I just want to add two things to that. One, there is mortgage relief. So most banks, the 6 major banks, are offering mortgage deferral, and we have provided almost $300 billion in liquidity for them to do that. So deferrals up to 6 months. I know initially there were some challenges. It seems like banks are moving a lot faster on it. So we would encourage landlords, especially, seek this, and in return be able to pass it on to the tenants. And of course, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit funds started to flow this week. So we've had reports of many people who've already received the payment of $2,000 as the first installment for the first 4-week period. So we are encouraging people to use that money, of course, for food, for essentials, including rent. And if you're not able to pay the full rent, maybe partial rent, and we definitely encourage people to engage and have a good conversation with the landlords. Next question.
So the next question is for Jennifer from Jason. There are mixed messages daily from the news in the city of Toronto. We know park facilities are closed. Can my family and I go for a walk in a park trail?
Thank you for the question, Jason. So all amenities, as you say, are closed. So the playgrounds, the benches, dog parks, anything that you can touch or has a touch surface is closed. That said, the parks and trails remain open for exercise. So that is biking, cycling, walking. What we are trying to encourage, though, is not to look at parks as what I'm calling a recreation destination. So you should not be getting into your car to drive to a park. That's how we get the overcrowding. And that's what we started to see at Bluffers and at the Port Union Park. People were using them as these destination outings, picnicking, that is not a permitted function right now. It is really about getting the exercise that you need. So some of the things I'm encouraging people to do is walk your local park, leave the car at home because it is about getting exercise. Explore your neighborhood. You might have a street beside you that you've never had a stroll down. We really do want people to get that exercise, get fresh air. It's good for your mental health. It's good for you at this time for your well-being, but we want to discourage overcrowding of our parks. I do want to give everybody the strong message here that we have city bylaw officers that are patrolling our parks right now. And they are focusing on hotspots. And since we launched ticketing, they have issued 26 tickets, 76 education sessions. And the tickets have a fine of $1,000. And so what those fines are being issued to are people that are congregating, playing soccer with multiple people that live in multiple households. So you can be fined if you're within 2 meters of somebody that does not live in your same household. So you can go for a walk with your family. We encourage you to go out with your family for a walk, but please be mindful of physical distancing and give everybody their space.
So the next question is for Gary from Andre. I applied for CERB and I got more than $2,000. Was I overpaid, and how do I pay it back?
Most likely not, because the CERB eligibility period starts from March 15th, so it's retroactive to March 15th, even though the applications came out this Monday. If you had applied on Monday for the last 4-week period, you would have been paid as of April 11th, and then the second payment for the period of April to May, that 4 weeks would have also been there. So it's potentially you would have gotten maybe $4,000, but understand that's also for the payment from April 11th to the second week of May.
The next question I have is for Vijay.
Repeat that.
So for Vijay, what are the barriers to Ontario's COVID testing capacity, and what can be done to help increase the capacity to streamline the flow?
That's right. So we do have enough assessment centers in place, and also we have the capability to increase the testing. And that's why yesterday Premier Ford has asked that having only 3,000 tests is unacceptable, and asked for 13,000 tests moving forward. And again, we have all the assessment center. Even we have reagents fully stocked up, and we have swabs to move forward with the testing. So because the previous week we had a shortage of reagents, but everything has been stocked up. So moving forward, there is no excuses. And Premier had a conversation with the command table, including Ontario Health CEO, to make sure we restructure to make we have 13,000 or approximately 13,000 tests moving forward, because the number shows from other countries, from other jurisdictions, that the more tests you do, you can find out the more data. When you have a more data, the scientists can able to provide the right directions, because as a province here, we are following the guidance from the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. David Williams, and they need data to make sure, give us guidance. And that's what we are relying on, to have enough data, to flatten the curve. We have to do tests again and again and again. So that's what we are focusing on, and all the assessment center are in place. So moving forward, we should be having approximately 13,000 tests.
So the next question is for Gary from Vidya. I used to work 80 hours bi-weekly. Now I get around 25 hours only. How can I apply for any benefit or EI?
So I'm assuming that's 25 hours bi-weekly, which would put you into around 12 and a half hours per week. Unfortunately, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit right now is if you have essentially no income. We are looking to reevaluate it to make sure that those who've lost a significant amount of shifts are able to get the benefit. So keep in touch. Look at our social media posts, and we will update this as it becomes. As you can understand, many of the programs we've rolled out are evolving, just because any of these programs will take up to 2 years usually to come to life. Some of these we put together in 3 weeks, and we're seeing gaps. So, for example, we're seeing that students don't have adequate level of support. So we are looking to see how the CERB can support students. We do know that those who are in the gig economy, who are maybe doing 1 or 2 shifts. If this is somebody's a bartender and doing something else, and they lost one of the jobs. And we want to make sure that that person is supported. So we are reevaluating CERB on a continuous basis, and we will have a better answer for you in the near future, because I'm pretty sure that our intention is to support people like Vijay and the type of question she's asking.
So I have a question for Jennifer from Victoria. What are you seeing as the greatest needs in our community, and how can we help locally?
Thank you for the question, Victoria. Certainly the one that concerns me the most, and I think it's an emerging issue, is food security. I first want to direct everybody to 211, and do please get the word out there that the city has collated all of the different social and mental supports, as well as food banks and delivery systems into 211. And so it has really become a one-stop resource, and we've moved additional resources into there. As for needs, there's various needs across the city. We've also established a new website, Volunteer Toronto, and that is, again, another one-stop shop for people that do want to volunteer, and you can find out the areas that you're specifically interested in. So that's citywide, one of the things that we're doing. In terms of food, citywide, we've launched 6 new pop-up food banks in libraries, and we've also partnered with the Red Cross for food delivery hampers for seniors across the city. So that is a service that is available for our seniors, because we're recognizing that we're asking our seniors that are over 70 to stay home. We need to help them so that they can get their groceries. CAA is also offering delivery as well for seniors. And so please do, anyone that's a senior that's listening, reach out to us if you need delivery. We have the list collated of both the paid, so where you have it delivered, but also where people do need support, and it needs to be administered through a food bank.
So I'm assuming that Red Cross as well as CAA could use more volunteers, right?
Yes, and so they can use more volunteers through 211. And then locally, we'll be putting out through our newsletter the local food banks in our area and their needs. They have needs for both food, and we'll say where you can drop those off. And as well, they also need volunteers to help with delivery of food. Some of our food banks, unfortunately, in the city have had difficulty meeting physical distancing requirements, and that's why we are launching new ones through the libraries, for example. But many have also shifted to a delivery service, and we need people that can help. If you have a car and you're willing to help deliver food, then please do reach out with us, and we're happy to connect you with Red Cross, but also those local ones in our neighborhood as well.
The next question is from Zakir. It says, thank you to all 3 levels of government for your leadership. Are there any plans to make facilities like the one in Brampton where citizens can go and get some PPE, so personal protective equipment, for a daily routine life?
So this is for Vijay?
I guess all of you, or whoever.
Maybe this is probably a Jennifer question because it's referencing the city. So, Jennifer.
So the cities right now, the PPE is being dedicated to long-term care facilities and frontline workers, but also the food banks as well. Right now, we are waiting for guidance more broadly that starts to suggest if it should be out to citizens. And until we receive that guidance from the other levels of government as well, then we're not yet launched anything that is giving out PPE to individuals. The focus, again, just remains on front healthcare workers, the food banks, and those city agencies that we have, but we do await both relief and guidance from other levels of government
So the next question is from Letna, to all three of you. What are the governments doing to ensure seniors are being taken care of in terms of emergency funding, food, and access?
So I can give you from the federal government perspective. There's the GST rebate has been doubled, so people will be getting checks in the mail. If you're already eligible for GST, it will be coming to everyone who qualifies, and predominantly most seniors are part of that. We also recognize that because of the volatility of the stock market, people's retirement income has been affected. So we are changing the requirements around the registered retirement investment fund. So there's more flexibility in terms of withdrawal from the RIFs. We are looking at additional measures, and I know through New Horizons, we are funding through the United Way agencies $9 million towards different programming to support seniors, because there is anticipated isolation as well as issues around delivery of food and so on. So we are looking to expand that, and I think more things will be coming down the line. Vijay?
Yes, in terms of seniors and their protection, whether it's food or medical or health, Ontario government proposed $75 million in doubling the senior annual system program, where individual seniors, they can get up to maximum $166 on a basis, as well as a couple seniors living, they can get $325. This is for low-income seniors. This program has introduced with our Ontario Action Plan 2020. This is overall $17 billion program, and this $75 million just focus on seniors, particularly the low-income seniors who are, and seniors are the vulnerable demographic when it comes to COVID outbreak. So we want to make sure we have some financial support as well as other support. So this is the main program that we have introduced, and obviously there are other needs are coming up in the community, like Councillor McKelvey mentioned. There are other programs available for seniors, for example, a delivery program, or even assist with delivering prescription medicines. So these programs are available. My office also, my staff, my team, and I also open to help seniors in any way possible. We can reach out to any one of our offices, and then we can work together to find out how we can help seniors. But this the $75 million program is for seniors to apply, and they can gain this during pandemic time.
Jennifer, you want to add to?
So I spoke to food, and that food delivery is something that the city has realized is very important for our seniors, especially as they've been recommended not to go out. We have for quite some time at the city had a property tax relief program. We continue to have that. So do please reach out, check our website, or contact our office if anyone needs to connect with that. That program is open to seniors, and I think for the most part that's probably who's using it right now, as they are on the lower incomes. But we do realize that many people have lost their jobs and had a change of circumstance through COVID-19. And so that program is also available to them to give them relief. Everybody right now has had a deferral in their water, waste, and property tax payments as well. We're hopeful that that can help people through in the short term as they are facing those income challenges as well. And that also links in with what Vijay was saying earlier about taking those pressures off might also help them if they have renters, so that they can support those renters as well until those renters are able to take care.
So the next question is for Vijay from Tharwat. Are there private testing options available to individuals? And if not, what is the criteria for someone to go get tested at a public facility? Do you have to show symptoms? Or can you go if you are not showing any symptoms?
All right. So from the directive coming from the medical office, we have public. Just echoing.
Yeah, Vijay, the sound is a little bit off. Can you try again?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. as far as the directive from the chief medical officer, we do have public testing available in all the assessment center that we have implemented. The first thing when people have to do, when someone feel that they have symptoms, they should first go to ontario.ca/coronavirus, and they should do their self-assessment first. Once they do the self-assessment, they will get the guidance whether they need to move on to the next step, which is to call the telehealth. And when you call the telehealth, the nurse or a frontline worker will talk to you, ask you more questions directly to your case, and then they will give you the guidance. And if they refer you to go to the assessment center near you, then you can go to the assessment center. And the nurses and physicians at assessment center, they will go through another set of questions and a process. And right now, as we are speaking, we let the physicians who work at the assessment center or frontline workers or nurses, for them to take the clinical judgment to whether they're going to test that individual or not. And that is fully under their directive, and they are making good calls, and this is totally up to their clinical judgment. This is all public testing process. I don't have much information on private from my knowledge. I can definitely ask my team to maybe get that question offline and follow up with Gary Anandasangaree's office to give Thailand the answer. But these are public measures for testing, and we are asking the frontline workers to make their clinical judgment on the testing. So please follow ontario.ca/coronavirus or ontario.ca/COVID-19. Either way, you can get the self-assessment testing.
The next question I have is for Jennifer from Claire. As an essential worker, I'm having trouble finding childcare resources. How can I apply for emergency childcare?
So if you go to our website, there's a link to the applications for the city-run ones. The city has opened several emergency care daycares that are designed for frontline workers. I mean, we do recognize that in many cases, for example, you might have two individuals, one's a paramedic and one works in a hospital, and they will need that emergency childcare. And so the sites right now, there is one in Malvern. It only takes 30 children at a time because it's trying to ensure there's physical distancing between children the way they're running it. It's for children under 12, and it does operate 24 hours a day. So please do check our website. If you have any difficulty finding it, reach out to us by email, and we will send you the link to that. But that is an important service that the city is very, very happy to be providing to our frontline workers right now. Thank you for your question. And thank you also for the work that you're doing.
Next question is for Gary from Pushpakala. Why haven't we locked down completely like other countries like France?
So that's a really good question. I know we all get asked that question, and I think this has been an ongoing conversation. If you look at the last 4 weeks, we saw incremental reduction of many different services. So first and foremost, federal government, we look at things like borders, airports, and other places. And for all intents and purposes, our borders are now shut down. Except for essential services, as well as to make sure that our food security needs are met, so that our different deliveries of goods and services, goods are coming through the border. With respect to the only other measure that's available to the federal government is to declare a state of emergency, enact the Emergencies Act. And in order for us to do that, we need the consensus of the provinces. And as is, we're having ongoing conversations with the provinces. The general thinking is that we've taken the right measures. We're continuing to see how this evolves, and we will not hesitate to take on additional measures as required. But at this point, we believe that we've taken extraordinary measures. All three levels of government. I know the province just added on or limited their essential services list just this week. we're at a point where I do think we are essentially locked down for all intents and purposes. But in order for us to take this further, we will evaluate how the curve is going and how things progress over the next several weeks.
So the last question is for all three of you, from Dennis. Passover, Ramadan, and Easter are right around the corner. What advice do you have for those celebrating and wanting to be close to family? And I would add on Tamil New Year, and I know there's another a lot of other religious cultural holidays following the next couple of days as well.
So Jennifer, you want to start on this, or Vijay?
I think we've all found in our neighborhood ways to stay connected while remaining physically distant. We see there's the birthday parades that are happening in our community, for example. Hopefully my dad's not watching this. We've made a sign for him we're going to put on our car and drive by tomorrow for his birthday. If you're out there, happy early birthday. But also on Easter, instead of cooking dinner for 12, we've arranged at 6 o'clock to all join on an app and have virtual dessert together. And so I think it's just about being really creative. And fortunately, we live in an extremely creative community. And on that note, I do want to give a shout out to all the parents and the children out there that provided artwork to my office that we have passed on to the 3 long-term care facilities around us. We dropped them off, we emailed them so they could print them themselves to the 20 Stacy Center in Altamont and to the extended care Rouge Valley. And so the seniors that aren't able to have visitors right now have your creative pictures. So that's just another way of how people are staying connected while physically distant. And I hope you all have a very safe and enjoyable holiday long weekend.
Vijay?
First off, I want to recognize and remember the Canadian troops who sacrificed their life in Vimy Ridge today. And as a community here in Scarborough, Rouge Park, such a diverse community, I want to first wish everyone a Passover, happy Easter's coming along. Let's celebrate our festivals while practicing physical distancing and definitely calling our friends, families, and neighbors, especially because this is a difficult time and people who are isolating, definitely they might go through loneliness, they might go through any other difficulties. So please call them and wish them and the wishers. But at the same time, I want to emphasize those who want to go to cottage during this weekend, please do not go to cottages, especially during this long weekend, because people who are living in the cottage country, they don't want their shelves to be fully cleared up. They don't want this whole problem to be out there in an unexpected level. So please do stay at home and celebrate all this celebration. And other than that, I want to wish everyone Easter and obviously everyone, the Jewish community in Rouge Park across the country, they celebrated Passover. Wish them well and stay at home and celebrate. That's the message I want to pass on.
And I think I'll echo what both my colleagues have said. Obviously, this is also difficult times for many people because this may be the first Easter that people are separated, the first Passover, they're not together. And as a result, I do think it's quite difficult. I know Ramadan is coming up very soon, and there are usually very large gatherings as well for iftar. So this is going to test us. This is going to test our will. This is going to test our connection to each other, and I think we have the technology to be able to sustain it. Some people put this in perspective. People who have survived adversity and have seen war have said that there are times when they've had to just celebrate by themselves or have no one to celebrate with, and the reason being because their loved ones are no longer. So I think it's a time for us to really reflect on all the things that we have, all the great things that we have in this country, and to understand that better times are around the corner. They're not far off, and when we work together, we will achieve those times. And again, I want to echo all of you to say, happy Passover and Easter greetings as well. Vasaki is coming up on Tuesday, as well as Tamil New Year, so greetings to all. And with that, I'm going to just have each one of you conclude, maybe with a minute, in terms of what message you have for people at Scarborough Rouge Park, and make sure that you give your phone number at the end if people want to get in touch with you. We'll start with, I think Jennifer, we'll start with Vijay first, and we'll start with Jennifer now.
So yes, I just want to thank Gary so very much for hosting this forum. We really do talk all the time, and sometimes at really ridiculously late hours of the night. So thank you to both of you for always taking those phone calls when you could be sleeping. Our phone number in our office is 416-338-3771. But please also do feel free to email us at counselor_McKelvey@toronto.ca. And also all the resources, all the programs I spoke about today are available on our website, jennifermckelvey.ca. I just want to thank as well all of you for taking time to join us this evening. I know we received many questions that we did not get to with this, but my team has committed to responding to those by email. So thank you to the ones that emailed my office for that. And then just again, echoing that I just have so much gratitude for being able to represent this absolutely wonderful community. And I really want to thank all of you for stepping up, but not stepping out. And we had overcrowding at our waterfront park. And you've all come to the call to not overcrowd the park. And so thank you so much for taking personal responsibility for this important issue, and thank you again.
First off, I want to thank Gary for organizing this Facebook Live Town Hall to talk to our residents and answer their questions. I think during this difficult time, we understand how, as Canadians, we always look after each other, and we always make sure the other neighbors or their relatives or friends are okay. So this is the time to express that. This is the time to express that kindness, that gratitude, and the sense of Canadians. So for all the parents and children, keep doing schoolwork and do the Learn at Home program. And for seniors, if you guys need any help, feel free to call any one of our office. And all three levels of governments are working together. And I commend the work that Premier Ford, Prime Minister, and Mayor John Tory is doing. And again, if you want to contact my office, you can call 416-283-8448, or you can contact by email vijay.thanigasalam@pc.ola.org, and we'll be happy to assist you. Again, thank you for doing this town hall, Gary.
Thank you, and with that, I just want to thank both of you for being really good partners for me locally as city councillor and my provincial rep. We do work very closely on a number of issues. We may not always see eye to eye, but we always talk, and we always know that we represent one people, and that's the constituents of Scarborough Rouge Park and the taxpayers of this riding. And so we look forward to serving you in that respect. And also I look forward to inviting both Jennifer and Vijay back for another conversation. I just want to finish off by just saying that we do have a COVID app. So if you go to canada.ca, you can download the COVID-19 app, and it has links to all the federal information that's available and supports that's available to Canadians. Also, we do have a volunteer registry as well. So those with expertise in healthcare and in emergency response, we do have registry where you can actually register to be a volunteer. And then we hope that you are able to do that. And of course, when Mayor Tory was here, I think we had over 100 questions that we were not able to answer. And I think likewise, we do have quite a few. And between the three of us, we will make sure that those questions are answered by email or by phone. And I want to thank all of you for joining. And to say that we'll be back in our regular time of Friday from 6 to 7 next week, and we'll figure out who's going to be joining us that day. And with that, I want to just wish all of you a very safe holiday time for everyone if you're celebrating any of the major holidays over the next few days, and to just assure you that we're here to serve you. My office can be reached at 416-283-1414, and we do have people working around the clock, but particularly readily available during weekdays, but also available for emergencies in the evenings and off hours. So be safe, be home. No need to go out at all this weekend, folks. Just stay put where you're at. Enjoy the time with your loved ones. FaceTime, Zoom. Do what you need to do to connect with your friends and neighbors and family. And with that, have a good long weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.